Hey y'all, welcome to Kamira's Kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make some easy, delicious, down-home red beans and rice. Y'all, this recipe is so good. You're going to be licking that spoon and the whole family is going to be going back for more. Now, the ingredients are super simple. I love to season my beans with some smoked turkey, some Cajun sausage. Of course, we're going to use that Creole seasoning, some fresh herbs, and that Trinity. Now, to start out, you want to sort your beans. Now, I do like this brand of beans. Y'all, they're not sponsoring this video, but I do suggest you get the highest quality beans that you can afford, because I find that certain brands have less broken bean pieces, less rocks, less debris, and I just prefer that. And I feel as if certain brands come out creamier than others. So what I'm going to do is just pick out anything that I don't want. And y'all, this is all I picked out. The rest of the beans were good. Of course, you want to make sure there's nothing moldy or anything like that. Then I am going to rinse my beans very well. Now, I don't know who instructed some people in the kitchen, but I've seen a number of people online just pour the beans straight from the bag into the pot. They don't rinse them, they don't sort them, they don't do nothing. Baby, rinse them beans. They got dust on them. You don't know how they've been handled. Give them 1 to 2 washes, okay? And then I'm going to set them to the side. I'm not going to soak them overnight, nothing like that. I actually find when I soak beans overnight, I feel as if the flavor is not as good. Has anybody else experienced that before? I honestly don't like to soak them at all. I have 13 ounces of a Cajun sausage. If you don't like pork, you can use a Cajun chicken sausage, but this is a mixed meat one. I'm going to cut these at a diagonal. I just feel like, it's fancy. Now, if I am doing 1 pound of beans, I will do 13 ounces of sausage. However, if I am doing 2 pounds of beans, I will actually do the same amount of sausage, but I will increase the amount of smoked turkey. I'll double the smoked turkey. That's personal preference. Now, this Cajun sausage is going to add a spicy flavor to your beans, and it's going to also add a little bit of fat. So if I was doing 2 pounds of beans, I know some of y'all have big families, use this whole pack of smoked turkey. But because I'm only doing 1, I'm going to use that part and those little wing tips, okay? Y'all know I'm about to use that Trinity, so I have 1 rib of celery, and I'm definitely going to use those celery leaves. They're going to add tons of flavor to this dish. I'm going to dice this good. I'm also going to dice up my green bell pepper and my onion. You want to use a large onion. Now, you can adjust these measurements based on what you like. If you like a ton of onion, honey, go ahead and add in 2. Now, red beans and rice is typically served on a Monday. That was laundry day, back in the day before washing machines, when women were scrubbing that laundry by hand. And so you could have some beans simmering with the ham bone from Sunday dinner all day while you were doing such a laborious task. So that's why, you have red beans and rice on a Monday. But honey, these days, I eat anytime. Actually, I really love to have red beans for breakfast. That's one of my favorite meals to have it at, believe it or not, because it's so full of protein. I like to eat it with scrambled eggs and sometimes some old school fried potatoes. But you all let me know when you love to eat it. All right, y'all. So I am going to saute the vegetables and brown the meat. I know a lot of people love a dump and go when it comes to a crock pot, but I really feel like this is what separates the beginner cooks from the people who is really cooking in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? So we are going to brown this sausage for about 4 minutes on every side. Let it get some good color on it, because it's really going to bring out the spices and the flavor that is in that sausage. This is an important step. Now, busy mamas, I hear you. Y'all are like, girl, I'm just trying to go ahead and get food on this table. I'm not trying to do all this. I'm not judging. I'm not judging. Okay. So if you really want, you can just take all your vegetables and your sausage and your beans and the spices and dump them in the crock pot without browning them. It is not going to taste the exact same, but it's not going to be bad either. All right. So if you have time, definitely go through this step, because you're also going to get that fat to render out of that sausage, and right into that delicious fat, we are going to put all of our vegetables. This step is so crucial to getting that flavor. So we're going to brown these for about 3 to 4 minutes. I'm going to turn the heat down to a medium low. If you think this looks good already, go ahead and put a fire emoji down in the comments and give your girl a like and subscribe for new recipes every single week. I drop 2 new recipes every week. Now, y'all, I am then going to add in 5 cloves of minced garlic, saute that for 30 seconds, and then add in a tablespoon of low sodium Cajun seasoning. Then I'm going to put in half of a teaspoon of Creole seasoning. That is more salt based. I'm not going to overdo it because remember, the sausage and the smoked turkey, they both have salt. And so you don't want to do too much. I'm going to take that off the eye, and then I have a 6-quart crock pot. This crock pot size is enough to do at least 2 pounds of beans, even though I am just doing 1 pound today. I'm going to add in my beans, and then I'm going to put in all of my sausage. Of course, I'm going to slide in any drippings from the plate and my smoked turkey. I'm then going to put in all of my vegetables. And I know some of y'all are thinking, but girl, all the flavor in that pan. Honey, you right, and we're going to get it right in there because y'all know I'm not going to leave any flavor left behind. So I'm going to be adding in total 6 cups of water. So I'm going to just use some of the water to scrape all of the fond and the seasonings from the side of the pan. Because, you know, if you were making this on the stovetop, of course, you would have had that in your dish. And we don't want to leave this behind. So just put in a few cups of water, work your spoon around, and then pour that right in. I'm then going to pour in the rest of the water. And if you want, you could use low sodium chicken broth or low sodium beef broth instead. It's up to you, but instead I am going to use a little bit of beef bouillon. For my herbs, I'm going to use fresh thyme and a bay leaf. And here I have about half of a tablespoon to a tablespoon. You can judge how much you want to use of some beef bouillon. I am going to cook these beans on high for 6 hours. However, you could also cook them on low for 8 to 10 hours, depending on when you want them to be ready. But high for 6 hours is perfect for me. I feel like they're perfectly tender. They're not mushy. And since I didn't soak the beans, of course, they are definitely going to take that long. And y'all, when I tell you my house was smelling so delicious all day long. Oh my goodness. And look at this. You see how they're soft, but they still have structure. That's really important to me. Now you could stop right here if you want to, but I am going to pick out, you know, any of the turkey bones. And y'all, that meat literally just falls right off of the bone. I'm also going to pick off the turkey skin. And let me teach y'all one trick to make your beans creamy. Use a potato masher. Smash around your beans a couple of times, and that's going to crush a few of them, and that's going to release the starch from the beans. And then when you go in to stir, you're going to find that gravy is now thick. Now, if you do not have a potato masher, don't even worry about it. Take your spoon or your spatula, scoop up some beans, and just crush it with a fork. Stir them back in. And look, now you have a thick gravy. When you pour that over some white rice and you serve it with some good old honey cornbread, baby, and don't mess around and add you some fried chicken or some fried fish, and put a little hot sauce with it. Baby, you are eating down home good Southern food that I just know the family is enjoying. Now, y'all, let me know if you're going to make this recipe. Let me know how this looks to you, if this got your mouth watering. And honey, I'm going to see you next time on Kamira's Kitchen. Goodbye, y'all, and God bless.